Hey there, friends. I hope you are doing really well wherever you are watching this. And in this video, I want to share with you and talk about something which I think is important when it comes to recovery. And it's probably something that you haven't really thought of. So right now, you might be experiencing high anxiety and the symptoms that come along with that, such as DPDR and a lot of other things. Or you might have had it for a little while and you're maybe just getting used to it, or you just think that this is how your life is right now. But in either instance, it does get to a point where eventually you will start to go, well, how do I get out of this? You'll stop sort of freaking out about it. And there is one thing which can potentially keep you in this cycle. And I see it a lot with a lot of the comments that I get on my videos, and when people asking me, when I'm doing intake calls with them and stuff like that. And maybe you've thought about this too. And the questions is, hey, Dan, does XYZ cause DPDR? I took weed. Is that the cause? Can an ear infection do it? Can not having the right vitamins do it? And all these type of things. And there's two things you've got to realize here, right? Is that it doesn't necessarily matter how you got it. The way out is pretty much the same for everybody. And if you are focusing on this, then you are focusing on the wrong thing. Now, you might have heard me say, or anybody say, what you focus on is what you get, or what you focus on, you get more of. So then you can think of people who have like rose tinted glasses, and it doesn't really matter what happens to them. Everything seems to be okay, and things don't necessarily affect them that much, or if it does affect them, they tend to get over it quite quickly. And then there's also the opposite of that, which is doom and gloom glasses, where even if a million good things happen to you, you'll focus on the one bad thing that tends to happen. And unfortunately, just the way that we're sort of wired, we tend to focus on the problems and we focus on the bad more. And the reason that we do that is because if we find a problem, we can fix it, and therefore it's going to cause our life to be longer. It's a survival thing back from way in the day when obviously problems were probably a little bit more life-threatening than what they are right now. We'd try and find problems to be able to fix them, so basically we could live longer. So it's not your fault that you are focusing on the negative or on the problems. It's just the way we are. But it is a choice. So it's a choice of what we focus on, we get. So if we focus on the bad things, then we're probably going to get more of the bad stuff. And if we focus on the good stuff, then we're going to get more of the good stuff. But the point of all this is that there might be something right now which you're focusing on, which is really, really the wrong thing to focus on. And the reason that it's the wrong thing to focus on is because it's not going to help you move forward or get any progress whatsoever. And that thing is can XYZ cause DPDR? Can drugs cause DPDR? Can weed cause DPDR? Can edibles cause DPDR? Can getting scared in a scary ride cause DPDR? Can driving cause DPDR? Like all these things, can it cause DPDR? And well, the answer to all of that is yes, it can, if it makes you anxious and if it stresses you out. One thing you can do to alleviate your questioning around this instantly is to go to a doctor and to get them to give you a clean bill of health. So go get all the tests that you want to get. And when they all come back negative, which I'm pretty sure they will do, then at least you can say, well, look, there's nothing actually physically wrong with me. It's all just in my mind. Now, at that point, you've got a choice. You can either go, okay, everything physically is okay with me, let's look at getting better. Or you can go, okay, the doctor says everything's good with me, but I don't believe them for whatever reason. Surely it can't be just a mental thing which is happening. So what if it's this that's causing it? Or what if it's this that's causing it? And I'm going to research this more, and I'm going to research this more. And you just end up going around in circles, and you're not really going to get any answers because there's not really any answers out there. Or you can tell yourself the answer is very simple. The answer is anything that causes you stress or anxiety has the potential to give it to you, give you DPDR, or it has the potential to keep it there. Now, I know right now you probably want answers of, can this do this? Can this cause this? Can this cause this? And the reason you want that is because you want knowledge, you want understanding, and you want to know what's happening. You want to make sense of it. That's what we do as people. We try and make sense of what's happening. The only sort of issue with this is that it doesn't actually help you get anywhere. You can find yourself going around in circles. You can find yourself getting more frustrated. You can find yourself going deeper down into rabbit holes and potentially even making it worse. But what you probably will also find is that it's not going to make you any better. And the reason that it's not going to make you any better is because it doesn't necessarily matter what caused it. The way out of it is the same for regardless of how you got into it. And the reason that that's the case is because the symptoms of DPDR, which are awful and nobody should have to experience them, they're caused by anxiety and they're caused by prolonged stress, which can go on to cause anxiety. And so yes, if driving at night makes you anxious, then it can bring on DPDR. If having an edible made you freak out that night, then yeah, it can bring on DPDR. If taking drugs makes you particularly anxious for whatever reason, then yeah, it can bring on the DPDR. But the thing is that all these things are pretty much just a catalyst, because you were already sort of on that journey anyway. You don't just go from being completely, totally cool and normal to having a bad drug experience and then just, falling into the cycle. There has to be a bit of a buildup, because we do have natural tolerance to stress and anxiety. Stress and anxiety is just a natural part of life. And there was a point before you had DPDR that you were stressed or you did feel anxious, but you weren't necessarily getting the symptoms. But the thing is, right, is that if you consider your body like a big jug, and stress and anxiety and all these little things is just little drips of water going in, then yeah, it can go in for ages and nothing's going to happen. But eventually it's going to start to overflow. And then your brain is going to go, oh my goodness, what's actually happening? I have to protect myself from all this stress and all this anxiety. And so I'm going to put you in a state of feeling out of it so you don't have to deal with all this stuff. And unfortunately, when you are feeling all the symptoms of it, it makes you even more stressed. So instead of little drips, it's actually a tap turning on, and now it's all just flooding everywhere. And while all this flooding is happening, you're sitting there going, well, hey, did drugs cause this? Can a disease cause this? Am I going insane? Can this cause this? Can this cause this? That's not going anywhere towards turning the tap off. That's just leaving the tap going, and you're trying to figure out some other problem somewhere else. So the reason I'm saying all of this is to go back to what I said towards the beginning, which is what you focus on is what you get. So if you're focusing on an area which doesn't really matter in terms of recovery, then that's what you're going to get. You're going to get no results. But if you focus on something which does matter, such as, well, what do I do now and how do I get out of it? Then you are going to see results. And I have done numerous videos on my channel about many, many things that you can do about how to actually get your life back on track and how to get out of this horrible place that you're in right now. So I recommend that you do go to my channel and check out all of those. So if you're focusing on something that isn't actually turning the tap off, then it's just going to keep dripping in water. But what eventually happens is that when you do turn that tap off and the water starts to drain and evaporate and just get back to a more natural state, then the symptoms start to lessen, they start to lift, you start to have a much more healthy relationship with anxiety and with stress, and you just slowly start to get your life back again. And sometimes with people, it doesn't even have to be slowly. I've worked with people that have gotten to a point where they feel really comfortable and confident to move on, whether that's full recovery or very close to it, really quite quickly. Some other people do take a little bit of time. It really depends upon how hard you work, your mindset, what you do. There's so many different factors that I can't just put them into an individual video, and I can't just say, hey, there's one silver bullet that you can do, which is going to guarantee that you get better. But the thing is, though, is that we don't need one silver bullet. We need lots and lots and lots of little regular bullets, which are just going to do the same job. So it's lots of little things coming together, which are going to help you. And if you do have any questions about that, Or if you do have any questions in general about anxiety and stress and DPDR, then please leave them in the comments. And if you do want to work with me one-on-one in coaching, which is how I help people recover from DPDR, then you can also book a free discovery call with me, and I'd love to chat with you about what you're going through and how we can begin your journey back to normality and back to recovery. So my friends, I hope this video has been useful to you, and until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.